All right, so welcome to standard burn spell tier ranking. We're going to put the standard spells into tier ranking based on what we think how they perform in standard. So first up we have Flame Blessed Bolt. It's 1 red, instant. Flame Blessed Bolt deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that creature or planeswalker would die this turn, exile it instead. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that it is 1 mana, 1 red mana, pretty efficient. So I do like that. 2 damage. Does 2 damage. The thing that I don't like about this particular spell is that it only targets creatures and planeswalkers. I like to go to the face. I like to have that option. So that's definitely a downside. Although it does come with a potential upside of exiling it instead of putting it in the graveyard. But I have to ask myself, how relevant is that in
It
this particular standard?
it is
It
very
is
relevant.
yeah. I mean, you have a Tenacious Underdog.
Yep.
You have not a lot of recursion, but you do have was it Takuma? So people can get stuff out of their graveyard.
All the unearth spells, I guess.
Yes,
the unearth
that's
artifacts.
what I was going to say. Hey, typically, for me, the target is Tenacious Underdog.
Yeah, that's a 3/2, so that's a very viable target.
Yep. And sometimes I'll even burn.
I think the main purpose for this card is Tenacious Underdog.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll burn 2 spells in order to get something, get rid of something, just because I know they're going to recur it later, things like that. So I do think this is a very good card. If I'm running red, I usually run both this and the other one that does 2.
I would put it B rank personally.
All right,
B
okay. Rank.
I could go with B.
Because it has some solid utility, but it's not one that you're going to want all the time. It can't go to the face.
All right,
I think it's a solid B.
Is this a card that you would want in a sideboard, like access to, assuming you're not a like a prowess aggro type deck? Would you want this in your sideboard for the mono black matchup to take care of?
Say you're a Grixis deck and you don't run that many burn spells. It's possible. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to the next one.
Yep. I'm comfortable with B.
We have End the Festivities. It's also 1 red from Crimson Vow. It's a sorcery, though. End the Festivities does 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. I think this is more of like a sleeper card that's coming up more recently with the addition of some Brothers War cards. Honorable mention to Mechanized Warfare in this list because it's not really direct damage, but it does give red sources 1 extra damage. So
that makes this card better.
Yes.
Is this card good on its own, however?
Not particularly. There's not a lot of 1 toughness creatures right now in the standard meta that you're having to deal with. This isn't going to kill a lot of them. 1 damage to planeswalkers. I'm not sure that that's super relevant right now either. Like, other than if they drop a Lily and -2 it when it comes into play, you're probably not killing a planeswalker with it.
Yeah.
I guess it's the same with Wandering Emperor. If you drop Wandering Emperor and -2 it, the turn it comes in.
All right, but you can hit a planeswalker with our last card for 1 as well. So
yeah, I think the last card is more relevant than this is.
I agree.
Okay. So are we doing C or are we doing D? Because I feel like this might be a D, in my personal opinion.
We can put it down in D for now, and then we can kind of look at it later if we need to.
Yeah, compare it to some of the other things, but for me, it's a D.
Yeah.
All right, so we have this down.
I'm comfortable with that.
D. And the Festivities in D. All right. I think when the whole spiel went with the. All right. There we go. We got it in D. Next card. A braid. It is a classic. 1 red, 1 colorless. Instant from Crimson Vow. It's a reprint. Choose one. A braid deals 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact.
So how come when I say 1 colorless, Brother Dave has got to jump down my throat instantly? Ben says 1 colorless. You're just sitting there passively. I'm like, you should have said 1 generic, Ben.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at a break going, oh man, this card is so good in this format. It's probably better than it should be just because of Brothers War.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was not listening to what he was saying. I'm sorry. It's
Uh-huh.
one generic there, buddy.
Yeah.
Let's get it right.
So, what
That's
does
right.
this car stand up? You like it?
That's right.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Well, because like you mentioned, just in this meta, like it's a must run if you're in red. Like
Yeah.
you run 4 of these. You for sure this is in your deck. Period. End of discussion. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like it has to be an S rank if you're in that situation. I feel like.
I was gonna say A, but I get where you're coming from. I like, yeah. In this format, I guess you're right. S tier on this one. I'm gonna go with you.
Yeah,
All right.
it's an instant. It kills 3 toughness creatures, or it destroys an artifact. It gives you options. It's
There's
almost always going to be relevant.
there's so many targets for it right now. It's absurd.
Yeah, I do like my one knock against it is the 3 damage is only to a creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You
what I
can't.
was.
If you could hit a planeswalker, maybe that's the one thing that might put it in A instead of S.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. We could stick it in S and then reevaluate.
Yeah, I had
If you
a
want.
game I had yesterday where I really needed to kill a planeswalker and I couldn't do it with the braid. But that's that's what you get. You take a trade off. You get 2 mana to either destroy an artifact or 3 damage. You can't have everything in a card in a standard level power. So,
I want it all, man.
well, you can
Wow.
have it.
Violet from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
So
Want it
yeah,
all,
I
I want it
agree.
now.
We'll see S tier.
Yeah.
What I like most about this card is it's such a powerful sideboard. And when you're talking about cards you want in your sideboard, this does so much in this meta for
Mhm.
games 2 and 3 that
Mhm.
if you're playing red, it's probably in your sideboard. So that's a big boon for it, I
Oh
think.
man, I would like if you're playing red, I think it should be in your main.
Mm.
Because like
It depends
what
on what
does
your game plan is.
I mean, what does this not hit though? It's like it doesn't kill a Shieldred.
Yeah.
That's it. Uh, like
Well, if you're black, you have more efficient removal than 3 damage.
I know, but like if you're facing off against the black, is what I'm saying. Like, because black's such a heavy part in this format. Like, it gets all the artifact creatures, so
Mhm.
you're like, maybe you're not hitting the Flesh Gorger with this if it was non-prototyped, but like you could if you really had to.
Yeah, I mean you probably even are because it sucks to eat that 7, but you're
Yeah.
going to be eating 7 when it attacks, and they're going to be healing for 7.
Right.
So.
Yeah, true.
All right. S tier. Let's see about the next one. Unleash the Inferno. Boom. All right, so this is mostly a sideboard card. It's 1 green, 1 red, 1 black, and 1 generic mana. Instant. Unleash the Inferno does 7 damage to target creature planeswalker. When it deals excess damage this way, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to that amount of excess damage. This is like a real like screw you against artifact or enchantment decks, like for real, or even play,
Yeah. I
So-
think in general I do like this card, but in terms of this ranking list and it being in standard, where do we see it fall there? Because I think it's relevant with what you're facing off against.
Mhm.
It kills most of the things you need to kill, and then you can also destroy an artifact with it, including even just a 0 cost artifact if you have to do 7 damage to something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean,
How relevant though are those 3 colors?
Right,
Like
that's-
how many people are running this? Because I haven't seen a Jund deck at all in standard.
yeah, there are a few floating around. I will say that if you had, say, a go for the throat and an abrade, it accomplishes the same thing, right? Except it doesn't deal the excess damage. So maybe it's better to have different sorts of removal spells than this one. So what do we think about? Yeah.
I'm not sure that I completely agree with you because while those are more efficient, they serve a different purpose. This is going to kill something and kill something else.
Yeah.
Ideally, you bring it out of the sideboard to destroy 2 things
Yeah.
with 1 card.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is a sideboard card.
But again, that goes back to like in terms of how we're judging this. Are we judging it on how good the card is, or are we judging it how it fits into the meta? Because if it's how it fits into the meta, there just isn't a Jund deck to put it in.
Yeah, I think it's both. So I think it's like a mix of both. You weigh both of them.
Okay.
So I would put this down in like C tier.
Yeah, that's what I was
C
thinking.
or
'Cause it's
D.
not completely useless, but also
It's
I don't
so
think it has-
situational is the thing.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to
And-
board this in. If you're Jund, you're not going to board this in if they're not playing artifacts or enchantments.
Mm-hmm.
You just simply.
How many decks right now don't have an artifact or an enchantment to hit?
That's a good question. you got the wedding announcement. You got
Mhm.
the bank buster. You got So
Fable the Mirror Breaker,
oh yeah, definitely Fable.
Mm-hmm. The
blood tokens, treasure tokens.
Anything
the
to keep them off that.
kimono, the kimono one.
Oh, you
Yeah.
just abrade
In
that
red.
thing. Get it out of here.
Kakazan faces.
Yeah, that's the
Whatever.
one. Yeah.
Kakazan. Yeah. The
That one,
Kakazan one.
that
the
one doesn't
flips.
annoy me as worse as Fable, but yeah, okay.
Well, obviously Fable's the stronger target, but
If you
it's-
have it and you don't want them to
Mhm.
get the +1/+1 counter, you could.
yeah.
Yeah,
But a lot of the times,
I
by you
do-
reach turn 4 with that card, you're probably dead,
Mm-hmm.
or it flipped already. But you never know.
so I feel like this could make a play. Like right now, I agree with you guys. It's a C card. If the next set makes Jund more viable,
It
I
might
think
change
that card could move up in ranks.
Here's my hot take. I think it's C because I think it's a good card and it's a great sideboard card. It just doesn't have a home yet. It's
Yeah.
definitely better than in the festivities, which you could put that in anything, but why would you why would you want to?
Yeah, fair. Okay, we'll throw it in D. All right, next card.
You mean C?
C. Sorry. It's C. All right, Torch Breath. It's 1 red and X instant. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a blue permanent. This spell cannot be countered. Torch Breath deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. This is great at killing a Teferi, I would say.
So if you're facing off against a blue, like a mono blue deck, this
Mhm.
will hit anything for like 2 points of damage for 1 red.
For
mana.
1 red, yeah.
That's how it works.
I would.
Yeah. And then you can pump it for more.
Yeah. And let me tell you, that mono blue Jin deck is really
Mhm.
annoying when it comes to counter spells. So this card goes up in value just to use against that deck.
Yeah, I can see that. The tempo deck you're talking about is really annoying.
Sometimes
especially
you
when-
go through the whole game and you don't do anything and you're dead. So
Yeah.
this would be great to stop that.
Yeah.
Sideboard card, I would say for sure. You bring it against blue.
Yep.
But it's not completely worthless in a main deck either. But I wouldn't probably play it.
No,
This
it's not
will-
main deckable, but
Um,
it is very effective against blue.
Yeah.
And the fact that it can't be countered means that it bypasses ward. So
Mm-hmm.
warded
can hit Flesh
targets are
Gorger
another.
without losing life.
Yeah, and the Talarian Serpent
Yeah.
Terror. Yeah, the Talarian Terror. So you would even get the extra damage off of that for the blue creature. So I think there's a lot of targets that you would want to sideboard this in for.
Okay. So what do we think?
I'll go a strong C, but I could be talked into B maybe.
I think for the purpose it's designed for, it does it like in a bang up job. So I think B or C.
I think B. It seems like we've kind of put that B tier as like a solid sideboard card. Yeah, like it has a use, but it's not main deckable.
Yeah.
All
right.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Sounds good.
Okay, next card up here from Streets of New Capenna. 1 red, Strangle. It's a sorcery speed. Strangle deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker.
I absolutely hate this card. I don't think that it's good. I don't.
I do feel like this card is overrated. I kind of agree with you.
Are you comparing it to Lightning Bolt?
I'm comparing it to the fact that it doesn't target everything in its sorcery speed. So you're not doing combat shenanigans with this. You're not. You're just like, it's removal. You're going to take out a creature. What targets can you take out for 3?
I mean, a lot. The whole point is they don't want to print Lightning Bolt in standard, so they make it only hit creatures or planeswalkers, and it's sorcery speed as a result.
I would take Lightning Strike over this card because it costs 1 more, sure, but it's like better. It's more utility. This is
I mean, the mana efficiency of it is important, especially when you get into the other, like when you travel outside of mono red. The efficiency of it is even more important, where you need to be able to cast your other spells in that Grixis deck. But yeah,
so let me give you a scenario. It's anecdotal, but it happens a lot. It's the same. This is the exact use scenario for it. Things like this. You're playing the Invoke Despair deck, and they have 2 creatures. One of them is a Shieldred, and one of them has a toughness of 3. You tell them to sacrifice a creature. They sacrifice not Shieldred. So you hit them with the Strangle, and then you Invoke Despair, but you wouldn't have had the mana for a Lightning Strike, because Invoke Despair costs 5. It's those scenarios that makes this card important. However, that being said, the sorcery speed really sucks.
Yeah, I hate sorcery speed burn. I hate burn that can't target a player. But I understand why this sees play.
Yep. B tier?
B tier.
B tier.
I don't. I'm outvoted, obviously, but I would say C. I fucking hate it.
It's just one of those. It's just one of those.
It's just
it has a purpose. It is not the purpose we want it to be.
I'm trying to talk myself into it, and I'm on Scryfall. I'm trying to look up what targets are in.
Dude, there's so many 3 creatures, and it's so important because the Flame Blessed Bolt and the other one doesn't hit it, doesn't kill it. Play with fire.
Yeah.
So
look for it on Scryfall with power and toughness.
Let's talk about maybe a better type spell.
Yeah, let's move on. I'm over it.
Voltage Surge.
I guess it's B.
Instant.
I hate it.
As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice an artifact. It does cost 1 red. Voltage Surge deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If the spell's additional cost was paid, it does 4 damage instead.
I really like this one.
Yes. With all the artifact tokens you make, boom.
Yeah, again, this does not go to the face, so that is relevant. But at least it's an instant. It can go up to 4 damage.
Yeah.
And yeah, these particular sets have so many different types of artifact tokens between the Power Stone tokens, the Blood tokens, and the treasure tokens, and everything else. You almost always have an artifact you can sacrifice in anything that has red in it.
Yep, you chump a shouldered with the 1/1, and then voltage surge that. Boom.
Yep. No. See, this is what you do. You hit a shielded with it, and then you end the festivities, and then bam.
Yeah, there you go.
And the festivities is relevant now.
All right. I would probably say I'm between A and B on this one.
I honestly think it's an A tier in the standard.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with A as well because it's fucking better than Strangle.
Look,
that's for sure.
Our
I
tier
agree
list
with that
is
100%.
growing, so it's like making our the D tier just gets relegated to down there. All right.
Yeah, well, maybe you should have made a better card. Not saying that there's not a place for bad cards, because obviously there has to be bad cards and there's no good cards.
I mean,
but
this isn't relevant to standard, but like I would end the festivities. I would consider in the festivities in the mono red Pioneer deck with Soul Scar Mage because it's -1 counters, baby. Yeah. So, but
Soul Scar Mage makes all burn better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Seismic Wave. It's 1 red and 2 generic. Instant. Seismic Wave deals 2 damage to any target and 1 damage to each non-artifact creature target opponent controls. Like lots of value packed into this card. However, it is 3 mana.
3 mana makes me not like it.
Yeah.
The other thing too, and it goes back to end the festivities, it's just there's not a lot of stuff that 1 damage is going to kill.
Right. We looking at D? Sounds like.
Yeah. I'm going to hit this up because we don't have a commander format, but I'm just going to say this is a marginally better in multiplayer because you're hitting each opponent. So
yeah, I mean
it's each non-artifact creature target opponent control.
Oh, okay. I misread that because I'm a big fat dummy. Never mind. This card is crap. Put it in D.
Yeah, I will say with the 1 damage, the Thopter tokens that are made, the iconoclast artifact creatures that are made, the the wedding announcement before it flips, they make 1/1s. I mean, there are little tokens that come.
It doesn't kill Thopters.
Oh, non-artifact, or it doesn't kill the iconoclast. You're right, because it's non-artifact.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's.
I was speaking more about in the festivities, really, but yeah. All right, next.
Nice save, man.
Yeah.
Kami's Flare. I did say with the ones that hit each 1 damage to each creature. So Kami's Flare deals 3 damage to target creature, planeswalker. Kami's Flare also deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller if you control a modified creature, which is anything that has an equipment or counters. And it costs 1 red and 1 colorless. It's an instant. What we got?
Speaking broadly about the modified mechanic, or is it a mechanic? The trait, I guess, would be a better. It seems cool, and in this format, there's probably a lot of things that are going to get you that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird. But like 2 for 3, and then another 2, so that's like it's pretty good.
I wish there were more modified creatures in this standard. It does. I don't feel like I hardly ever see any or play against any. And
like
then
Kamana
not being able to go to the face.
Yeah. Kamana Face's Kakazan does modify the creature if you play it on the second chapter.
Oh, Yeah.
So this might be relevant in Burn, but it's not really played. Is the thing? I think there's just more efficient things. So I have seen it though. I have seen it in that very instance, but.
Well, you've got. I guess this isn't relevant because these are like green things, but the toothy worm, is that the name of the card that gets it whenever you pop down an artifact? Yeah, teething wormlet.
He's awesome.
Stuff like that would count as a modified creature, so maybe there's a accrual thing that this might go in, but I never see it played. So.
I'm saying it's so situational. It's either C or D.
I'm gonna say the same thing that we said about the Jund card, whose name I can't remember right now. Is I think it's a C tier card that can move up if standard gives us either more modified creatures or more chances for us to use it. So I would say C tier with a chance to move up if the next set gives us the ability to have more modified creatures.
I'm cool with that.
I'm feeling strongly that maybe the C tier is going to end up being just the Jund deck we've been looking for.
All right, next one. Play with Fire. 1 red instant. Play with Fire deals 2 damage to any target. If the player was dealt damage this way, scry 1.
I love this card.
I love it so much. I would play this card 100 times before I ever played a Strangle. It's got everything I want in a 1 mana
standard power level.
Yeah, standard power burn spell. Play this in Pioneer too, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, any non-lightning bolt format, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's everything you want and more. Because it can go to the face, and if you go to the face, it gives you a bonus.
I'm getting S or A tier vibes. What you want?
S.
It's S tier. Yeah.
S tier. All right.
S tier.
Nice.
I actually think it's probably the best burn spell in standard right now.
Oh, nice.
Put it in front of a braid, man. Slide it over.
It's just a tier.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Moving right along. Here we go. We're going to have some words on these ones. Burn down the house. 2 red, 3 generic sorcery. Choose 1. Burn down the house does 5 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. Create 3 1/1 red devil creature tokens. With this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. They gain haste until end of turn.
I feel like this spell was more relevant before Dominaria United and Brothers War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it because the other spell that's similar was released in Dominaria United, or just because of the rest of the meta shifts?
I think I think it's both. The meta has shifted where the 5 cost is too high now, and also there are better things to run.
And really, Jeskai Control is kind of the home for this, right? I mean, I know other decks run it. Like sometimes Grixis will run it just to get against aggro. They'll burn down the house, turn 5, and then lay their board out. But yeah, what do you think? What tier?
Yeah. It takes out Sheoldred, so there's
that.
Yeah.
Kill Sheoldred.
I probably would have put it in B tier before Dominaria United and Brothers War, but I think now it belongs in C tier, where we need to see a shift in the meta for it to be more relevant.
Yeah, and it's so situational. You have to have a deck built around it, or be against a specific deck to even think about citing this in. So
right.
I really want to go on a rant about how this card is better than Strangle, but I can't, in good faith, make that argument. So,
all right, next one: Temporal Firestorm. Same cost, 2 red, generic. It's a sorcery. Was Burn Down the House a sorcery? Yeah, it was. It has kicker 1 red, white, and a generic, and/or 1 blue and a generic, so you can do both. Choose up to X creatures and or planeswalkers you control, where X is the number of times the spell was kicked. Those permanents phase out. Temporal Firestorm deals 5 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. So the idea is you can play a butt ton of mana in Jeskai to phase a couple of your creatures out, in order to wipe the board, and then your creatures phase in and continue to go. Or you can just kill everything. What? What? I don't know. I don't like this card. I'll defer to you guys.
I still think this card is better than people give it credit for, but
yeah,
but it's also super limited because it's pretty much only playable in Jeskai.
Yeah.
Which does not exist right now.
Yeah, it's
in the standard meta.
It's a rough thing. And also, there's a printing in Brothers War that just kind of destroyed both these last two cards, which we'll talk about that one next.
Yeah. So it's D tier.
Yeah, I'm gonna say D tier.
You think that this card is not as good as Burn Down the House?
I don't, dude. Those 3 red haste devils that deal 1 damage when they die are actually, it comes up more than you think they would. The other mode is better than the kicker mode on this, because the kicker's mode is just way too much mana.
I disagree with that because Jeskai Control puts mana on the board.
You're right. And
pretty consistently.
And they're probably controlling the bird early game enough to not die to wipe it effectively later.
Yeah, the reason that I put this in D tier instead of C tier like the other one in my mind is that it's just not... The bonuses for this card require Jeskai, which currently does not exist in the meta.
That's fair. That's fair.
And so similar to the other cards that we have in the C tier that we've talked about, if the next set comes out and Jeskai Control becomes playable, I think that card can move up. But until that happens, I just don't see it.
I don't know if I agree with you guys, but I'm outvoted. I think that this is better than Burn Down the House.
But you would put it in a B tier?
Well, okay, I guess what I'm saying is I would put it in C tier, but I'd put it behind Burn Down the House because I understand what you're saying about the Devils. But if the only thing that's keeping this card from being good is not having a home, how is that any different than Unleash the Inferno or the Kami one?
It costs so much.
I don't know. I guess. Fine.
And it's way more situational.
Is it?
You're not going to burn a 5 mana spell if you got a couple 2/2s on the board. You're going to use a Play with Fire or Kami's Flare. Like,
when is a board wipe where you get to keep 1 or 2 of your best creatures? You get to choose
for 9 mana.
Your control. What does it matter?
You probably don't have creatures anyway.
What are you killing people with? Are you one of them jerks that don't run a win condition in your control deck?
Yeah, your win condition is Teferi.
So, real quick, just because you mentioned you don't run creatures anyway, Jeskai Control very much runs Planeswalkers, though.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
This does deal damage to Planeswalkers. Yeah. So there is something for you to save in most cases.
That's true. You are right. But 9 mana is a big hit, or 7, I guess, if you only have one Planeswalker to save. And commonly, when you play this, to be fair, commonly when you play this, you got another Planeswalker, like a duplicate, in your hand that you then play next turn. This is like a kill switch, like I'm about to die, I'm gonna wipe and go. But I don't know. I would love to see somebody prove me wrong that this card is like the bomb, but I don't see it. Because I do think the kicker modes and stuff are really cool. I think that's a cool idea and a cool design. I
very much think you could be proven wrong if Jeskai Control could be a thing in the current standard. I just don't think it can be right at this point.
Right.
Fine.
All right, let's move on to the other board wipe spell that was printed in Brothers War. Brotherhood's End. I always put the S apostrophe in the wrong place. 2 red, 1 colorless. Choose one.
1 generic.
Generic. Sorcery. Choose one. Brotherhood End deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker, or destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less.
It's so good.
Woo!
This is it's a really good spell.
Yeah.
It kills a lot of stuff. It destroys a lot of artifacts. It's in an artifact heavy set.
All the tokens, man. All the tokens are gone.
Yeah.
Things they're kicking your ass with blow up, or you can just deal 3 damage to everything. Which is quite relevant because most things are 3 or below. There's a few.
It kills the Gorger without you targeting it.
That's exactly.
Yeah. Yep. That's true.
So it's very relevant.
It kills the Gorger in prototype mode.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So I'm gonna propose it for S tier. It's the best board wipe in the format, direct damage wise.
I think I have to say A tier.
Yeah, I was gonna go with A tier. I mean, it's good, but I don't know, man, because it's like for 3 and you get to wipe, that is pretty good, and you get to choose whether it's artifacts. Well,
so let me ask you: if you are in red, do you have to run this card?
I mean, not always, but it's good to have it in a sideboard, and even if you're not in red, it's like if you're
right. So
Rakdos or something.
Because I feel like both Abrade and Play with Fire, you have to have bare minimum in your sideboard right now if you're in red, right?
Right.
Like have to.
Yeah.
So do you have to have Brotherhood End in there?
No, to be honest.
That's why I would put it in A tier.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference between the A tier and the S tier. Is the S tier is you have to have this card.
I'm gonna have to concur with my king here and go with A.
All right. I don't want to overhype the card. I'm listening to reason. I gotcha. All right. So A tier locked. Next one, Lightning Strike. It's like Bolt, but one more. It's a strike. Instant, deals 3 damage to any target. Costs 1 red and 1 generic.
Hey.
You did it right. Good job, buddy. Look. I don't care what you say that this is better than Strangle, so it has to at least be A.
Yeah, it's better than Strangle.
I agree. I was gonna propose A myself.
Yeah.
Instant, targets anything, 3 damage. Very solid.
It's basically an auto include in a red deck.
Yep.
All right. Now, next up, Obliterating Bolt. 1 red, 1 generic, sorcery speed. Obliterating Bolt deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that creature or planeswalker would die this turn, exile it instead.
Where did we stick?
B tier. Flame Blessed Bolt.
Is this just Lava Coil but named differently?
I'd have to read Lava Coil, making me do stuff.
I can't 100. Let me look at myself. I have.
I don't think that Lava Coil does damage to planeswalkers. So.
Oh, probably not. Yeah. Lava Coil was creature.
Better Lava Coil.
This is a better Lava Coil.
And Lava Coil's good.
I thought Lava Coil was a little overhyped. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, when you needed to kill a Winota in Pioneer.
Yeah, I think Lava Coil was a. It was a. Can't think of the word I'm looking for. It was affected by the meta, or its strength was determined by the meta, because there were a lot of 4 toughness creatures that you needed to kill in that meta. It was less about whether or not the card was good, but more about the fact that you just had a lot of 4 toughness targets at the time.
Yeah. And the fact that there's just enough creatures, and don't ask me to think about it right off the top of my head, but that go to the graveyard and can be recurred that are above 2, that this card's value is higher. Because you want to exile those things, right? Like, obviously, the Tenacious Underdog can get hit with either of these, and the Flame Blast Bolt is more efficient use of that. But I think that I've when I'm playing with this card, it's like sometimes both cards I've been, man, I wish this was a obliterating bolt, so it didn't come back in one way or another. So I think it's at least B tier, if not A.
It doesn't kill shoulder.
I know, unfortunately, but this plus End the Festivities does.
God damn it.
Okay. I think that. I don't know. I could see a B, but better.
I mean, it's better than Strangle.
Yeah, definitely better than Strangle.
Yeah. That 3 is so relevant, though. It being above 3 is so relevant. That's the thing. Or 3 or above.
I'm really racking my head trying to think of how many of the unearthed cards have 4 toughness, and I'm not coming up with a lot.
Okay. Phyrexian Dragon Engine.
Okay.
That's a scary one that you kind of want to hit with this. Because if they can unearth and then meld with Mishra real fast.
All right, I can tell you. Dragons, Artificer's Dragon, Cityscape Leveler.
4 toughness.
Hold on. No, sorry. I did this wrong. Hold on. I did less than and equal to. So we want equal to. Boom. Shit. I don't know how to work Scryfall. Artificer's Dragon, Mishra, Tamer of Makfawa, the Terrasian Mindbreaker, and Tokash's Ono Nolet is 4. So, and then what the Dragon Engine is for? The Phyrexian Dragon 3/3. So takes that out too.
I feel like there's more, and also you're just filtering for unearthed cards. You're not filtering for blitz cards or cards that people target with an unearthed spell or a reanimation type situation.
Yeah.
That's why I'm having a problem thinking about everything, is because
there's a lot of targets. Is
so what tier are you thinking, Ben?
Either B or A. I definitely don't think it's S tier, but it's not up there with the Abrades.
I'll go
the player
B
fires.
on the condition that you move Strangle down to C.
I mean, me personally, let's put this here and see what it looks like. I think that Play with Fire is A, and I think that Obliterating Bolt is A, and these other two can stay down here.
Play with Fire.
Sorry, not Play with Fire. Flame Blast Bolt. I think that in this standard, the Exile is so relevant that it pushes it to A tier.
So you want to put Flame Blast Bolt up to A and put Obliterating
Bolt
A?
to A, yeah. And I think the tier list looks good. I think that's our last spell.
I don't.
I
would sooner move Strangle down to C than I would move those two up to A.
Yeah, I think your overvaluation of Strangle is what's causing the tier list to look wonky.
I don't know about that, but I mean, you guys play Burn more than I do, so.
Yeah, and I fucking hate Strangle, man. You gotta listen to me here. It's not.
It's not good. That's because you play Burn. Strangle is not a burn card. Strangle is a other thing card.
That's true.
I guess I don't. I don't know, man. Look, if you're gonna do that,
it's like I said earlier. I don't like Strangle, but I understand why it's played. I get it. I hate it, but I get it.
All right, move Obliterating Bolt to A. Leave Flame Blast Bolt where it is.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I guess Obliterating Bolt.
You need that
relevancy. Does have a lot of relevance in the standard. It's probably more of a sideboard card, but you're probably running it. Yeah. Okay. I'm okay with A.
You get 2 more damage, and does Flame Blast Bolt target
No.
planeswalkers?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with move Obliterating Bolt to A and keep Flame Blast where it is. I think we're good because I think the additional 2 for 1 extra mana is pretty relevant.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Yeah, because the four to a fairy or something like
Yeah, or the Djinn in the blue tempo deck is a good target for that.
Yeah. Not as good a target as Torch Breath because they can't counter that thing. But
well, yeah, but
I'm gonna have to put some Torch Breaths in my sideboard when running best of ones.
what's the mana cost on Torch Breath again?
It's 1 in X. It's the
it's the pump. It's the X. Okay, yeah. So
it's good sideboard tech.
you're getting taking out a Djinn that you can't counter for an additional 1 mana value with Torch Breath.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good.
Because you're probably not killing it if you try to just Obliterating Bolt it. They'll just counter it, and you'll have or phase it out or whatever.
Do something silly.
But Torch Breath does not stop the phasing out or the hexproof.
Yeah.
So just hope they don't have that. Anyway, so this is our tier list. Congratulations to S tier ranked Play with Fire and Abrade.